Okay, so woke up pretty recently. Usually wake up at like 8:30, but today is about 7 because I'm driving to my parents' place for the week for the Christmas holidays. And so that's like a little bit over 2 hour drive. So I gotta prepare, packing the car of me and my son's stuff. And I'll show you what I do in the morning. I'm trying to reduce caffeine and hopefully kick the habit for a while and take a break from it. So one of the strategies that I do is I showed it in another video is I try to reduce the amount of time that I spend drinking caffeine. But then another thing that I do is I also do like a routine before I start drinking caffeine. So my desired behavior is to drink coffee the first thing that I do. But my strategy is to little by little add more activities that I need to do before I drink coffee so that hopefully um, one day I get to the point that I have a schedule every morning. What I got to do this, that, eat some breakfast, take care of my son, clean up a little bit. And by then, I don't really even desire coffee that much anymore. And then hopefully one day I'll skip, and then one day it'll turn into 2 days skipping, and then I'll take a long break from caffeine, and maybe they kick the habit for a year. Who knows? And then that'll really reduce my overall lifetime amount of caffeine. And for that 1 year, I'll be able to sleep well and work harder and feel better because I don't like the side effects of caffeine, of the anxiety, the irritability, the not being able to sleep. And so I'm just gonna go through my list here. So so the list is about like 6 items, and so we'll go through them. So one of the items is get a cup of water, and so I'll get my son some water too. But actually, he's gonna say no to it. He always says no to the water, so I'm just gonna give him milk later. So I'm gonna turn on the blinds, or turn the blinds so I get some light coming in. And I'm gonna get myself some water. So let's get this stood right here. Damn. All right. So I'm gonna get myself a mug and get some water. So I guess I don't need to just like keep on repeating what activity I'm doing. I should probably keep on moving. And if it gets to the point that I'm still on the water stage, that I've completely talked about this topic, I should move to a related topic or just move to another topic. I think that would be the most engaging video. So I'm gonna get my 1 cup of water, and then so after I get this, I'm gonna brush my teeth, and then after the brushing the teeth, we got some things I gotta take care of for my son. So we gotta do a diaper change, and then we also gotta brush his teeth. And then I eat a very small amount of food, like maybe one, like couple crackers, and then that's good enough because one day, hopefully, in a couple weeks, maybe soon in a couple days after my trip, I'm gonna increment up to um, eating like a entire serving of food and eventually into a whole meal. And that's gonna help because also it's gonna delay my instant, like, unsatiable desire for caffeine and get over that hump so that maybe one day I'll be like, oh, I don't need it, and not drink caffeine. Also, I'm gonna also be doing my other program at the same time, which is reducing the time. So in a full vision of how to do everything is gonna work on both ends. So at the top end is the time that's gonna reduce. So right now I stopped drinking caffeine by 10:30 a.m. And so every day I try to reduce it by 5 minutes. So eventually it's gonna get down to nine something, and that's on the top of the time. But on the bottom of the time is me doing these little habits. And so the goal is eventually I want to get to like, you know, that I have to end my caffeine by 8:55 p.m., 55 a.m., for example. And I'm just so busy doing these little morning tasks that I got myself out of that insatiable desire for caffeine, because if I'm in the groove, um, I won't desire it as much. It's just like the alarm clock. It might hurt so much getting up for an alarm clock, but once you're in the groove, you're in your shower, you're on the way to work, the grief of having to wake up goes away. So maybe the grief of not having caffeine will go away, and I'm gonna have been reduced. I would have reduced if I get to the point where I'm not drinking caffeine past 8:55 a.m. I don't really have time to drink more than like a cup, and so I won't miss that one cup because I'm so um, sensitized to caffeine again that before, if I was trying to cut, if I was having caffeine until 1 2 p.m., I'd be having like 4 cups. I'd be like 4 cups to zero. That's so hard. But if I'm habituated to having caffeine until 8:55 a.m. and I wake up at 8:20, I only have time for 1 cup. And one of these days, I know if I get myself in the groove with these little morning routines, and I keep on reducing how much coffee I drink by reducing the amount of time that I allow myself to, and I don't cheat the system by like chugging, then I know that eventually I'll start having 1 cup of coffee a day. And then one day I'm gonna be like, well, I don't need that 1 cup. So because I'm not so addicted anymore since I only have 1 cup. So that is the overall picture of going on both ends in the morning doing the routine, and at the end time having an end time. So how you attack it on both sides, from the time you wake up to the time that you stop, you make yourself stop drinking caffeine. So like I said, I eat like a small amount of food, and that's double. It's like a double benefit. First benefit is having an activity, get yourself in the groove that it ain't so bad not having caffeine. It's fine. Secondly, it's a substitution. It's a substitution of consumption. So instead of drinking caffeine, you feel satisfied by food. So it has that double benefit. And my arms are pretty tired. Maybe that's why people have selfie sticks. And I think, let me think of the other things that I do so far. I think the last thing that I do is I make myself a cup of black tea. And so that has to do with the double benefit of, first of all, um, substituting a higher caffeine item like an energy drink or coffee with black tea, which I think is slightly less than coffee. So that's the, satisfying your consumption with a lesser, um, lesser like goal hindering consumption, which would be the black tea. And another thing about, um, so that's the main thing, and that's about it. And then I let myself drink caffeine, and then I add another safeguard to help me produce, is that I don't have any coffee or energy drinks at home. I have to go drive all the way to McDonald's to get some. So I feel the pain of not wasting, but using car usage of gas and wear and tear on the car, and the micro usage of car insurance. Maybe not, that's a sunk cost, but more likely the chance of getting to a car accident, your added chance of your cumulative chance of getting to a car accident, and adding additional money that needs to go out to deal with those sorts of situations. Um, that's also something that's going to influence me to stop, because I don't want to go through that pain of spending money. And then also, it's less convenient. So the desire for caffeine has to be great enough that wants to overcome the caffeine of getting in the car and going picking up the coffee. And so once I get reduced, once I get to the point where I'm only having 1 cup a day, and I have a really nice, sizably long morning routine where I can get in the groove, I know one day I'll be like, I really don't need it. I don't need it. So that's the hope, and it's worked for other things, um, and so that's why I think it'll possibly work, to completion of taking an actual long break of not having caffeine for not only an entire day but for weeks. I don't think I've gone 1 day without like caffeine, whether it be even more of a lighter form like black tea for like a long time, maybe like 9 months. Have I gone more than like 1 week without caffeine? Maybe year and a half. So this is gonna be the hardest one, but I know that regardless if I make it all the way to perfection of of like close to perfection, which is taking like weeks long break of caffeine, the reduction of going down all the way down to 1 cup of coffee a day for months is such an improvement than having 2 energy drinks and 2 cups of coffee a day that I do when I'm really dependent on this drink. So that's the strategy in the beginning end, is doing the morning routine activities. On the tail end is having a mandated end time. And so to learn about the mandated end time, that's easy. It sounds kind of scary because I say mandated, but it's easy because it's a very gradual, at the beginning guaranteed, and at that point, once you get over the hump, it's almost certain to get some progress. And so there's a video I did called Vlog 2, getting monetized in 2 months, something like that. But just look out for Vlog 2. This will probably, if I follow the same pattern, this will be named the Vlog 3. And I don't know how people who don't have a selfie stick deal with this, like arm fatigue. Um, so another thing we could talk about is the uh, the shame of the shame of like following trends as somebody that's like now like almost middle aged in terms of like mainstream like discourse, like what middle aged is almost. But like in my opinion, I am genuinely middle aged because I think I'm on the track that I don't really take care of myself. My time could be up in my early 60s. So I think I'm in middle age, when it's specifically tailored to me. And so the shame of like following trends, even though I'm like old, like following, not old but middle aged, like still following trends as if I'm like a teenager. And that's something I really don't like about myself. But I don't know if I give myself a too hard time, that like I'm actually pretty like average in terms of how much I'm influenced by other people. But like I perceive myself as some really impressionable person that doesn't have, which like makes me see myself as not having a like concrete identity, which is like a little bit embarrassing that I'm tossed by the wind. And an example of this is I remember like one time I worked at, even when I was like 27 or something, I worked at a call center as a salesperson, and I was really bad at the job. And one of the guys that was like good, and he was charming, and that helps a lot in that kind of business, that kind of job. He had like a southern drawl, and then I just started like naturally copying him. And the thing is, like, this was in San Francisco, so the local like community doesn't have a southern drawl. So he's like one of the few people, but because since it was unique and it was charming and he was a top performer, I mimicked somebody that I saw that I admired. And I remember one day I went to my other job. I had a part-time job as well as a retail store, and we had an outing. And then one of the girls, she's so nice and friendly, and she said, "I thought you were from the South." And I'm not from the South. I'm from SoCal. I, and then, but the thing is, like, we were drinking. This was like a group outing, and we went to a bar. We had some drinks. We went to the dance floor, and then we got some food, and that was the outing. Nice little outing. So I think the southern draw got like extra strong or something, and started speaking it in like more of an accent. But the thing is, like, even I think when I was sober, like completely sober at work, it would like come out too, like in a really strong way. And I just feel embarrassed that I feel like admiring somebody is like for teenagers to change the way that you talk, if that, and that you should have like the impression is you don't have confidence in yourself, and like you are who you are and you live that. And that's just one example of many other examples. And to quickly round this up, I remember like even when I was in my like I'm 34 now. Uh, when I was like 31, I started wearing nail polish because that was the trend. I was dyeing my hair, and and I didn't have my like set sense of like fashion. But maybe I'm being too hard on myself. Like it's not like I did all the way. Like I started like wearing like makeup and eyeliner, and maybe it was just like a slight variation of what who I am normally. So I don't think I should beat myself up for that. That like everybody follows um, trends to some extent, a lot of times in smaller ways. But I do admire those that like really like stick to who they are. That like if they have a conservative dressing style, they pretty much like stick to that. If they have a more like colorful, they stick to like trying new things. That's who they are. But um, maybe it's a good thing that I'm more open minded and flexible, and I'm more open to new experiences. But on the other side of things, maybe it would be nicer if I had more consistency in who I am, and almost like a backbone that I talk the way I talk, I dress the way I dress, and I like it, and I like to do it regardless of the trends. So I see that too way as well. But I don't need to put myself down that I'm not like that all the time. Thanks for listening. Hope you have a good day.